Good morning. I'm Jeff Benedict, the president and owner of Accomplished Quilting, and today I'm going to provide you with some instructions on how to put together the L&M bobbin winder. The first thing I want you to know about is in the comprehensive Innova manual, which is a very complete manual, at the back there's a section on how to assemble the L&M bobbin winder. So please use that as you go through your assembly. So I'm going to get out this new L&M bobbin winder, packaged very nicely, and get the components out so we can put it together. Just dump them all out. The reason it's called an L&M bobbin winder is you can wind the big M bobbins with it, but you can also do the smaller domestic sewing machine bobbins. All you have to do is change the trip devices. There's a trip device for the L ordinary domestic sewing machine bobbins, and then there's one with an M molded into it for the large industrial bobbins. So it's kind of nice to have an extra bobbin winder even on hand and do your sewing machine bobbin winding with them. These are nice bobbin winders. Put it together, get the parts out. And there's one of these posts that's a little thicker at the bottom than the others. You put this propeller looking piece on, slide it down, push it in there, and then you've got 3 spindles here to hold the bobbins, either full or empties, however you choose. You also got a spot down there to store some bobbins too. Of course, then you have your power supply for the bobbin winder, and that just plugs in to the back here. Then one needs to put on the tension device. It's got a couple screws that are in it. Take a screwdriver and just loosen those and take them out. Okay, now this tension device gets fastened onto the tower. So it's got 4 holes in it, and just pick a couple that you think will work. I'm going to choose the this inner hole right here and this outer hole here. See if that'll work for me. It gives it adjustability so that we can get the bobbins to wind evenly. In fact, maybe it would be easier if I would just put it in the bobbin winder, so then I don't have to hold that piece. Start the screw into one of the holes. Having done a lot of these, I'm going to choose the outermost set of holes. I think that might work the best, most frequently. And I'm going to center my screw kind of in the slot. I find a lot of times if you center it in the slot, it works out the first time, where you end up getting nice evenly wound bobbins. So to start with, I've kind of centered the screw heads in these elongated slots in the middle, and I find a lot of times that works out, and I end up getting bobbins that wind evenly. But we'll see. Okay, to thread the Innova bobbin winder, you put on your cone of thread, thread through the eye of the needle, or not the eye of the needle, the eye of the tower here, and then through the entrance to the tension, first eyelet. Go up and over and make sure you get between the 2 stainless steel discs, and then go out the other way. Now, the next thing you do is you take this loop in the middle and come down and just turn it like that. Just slide it over this pre-tension. Then pull on the system and get the slack out of it. Then take a bobbin, put it on the spindle, take your thread and come down and grab the tail with your left hand, Then take the thread between the bobbin and the tension and wrap that around 8 to 10 times, like this. Because what we're doing is we're making sure that the thread leading off the bobbin when you're sewing now won't be trapped under the tail. Had I taken the tail of the thread and gone around like this, I'd be taking the thread that's leading off the bobbin and trapping it under all the times I wound the tail. And then when you get to the end of the bobbin, it breaks off inside your bobbin case and leaves thread on the bobbin. And it makes unusual looking stitches at the end. But with it done this way, where you're taking the thread leading off the bobbin and wrapping it around the tail, all your thread will come off the bobbin case at the end of your sewing cleanly, and it won't twang the tension spring on the bobbin case and damage it. So if you want consistent tension in your equipment to last, do it this way. So then to wind, we just push down the trip device. We just push the on button now, and we should see the thread go back and forth evenly. If we haven't got our tension in the right position up here on the top of the tower, it may wind more on on the inside or the outside edge of the bobbin. So far it looks pretty good. There, and when it's full it trips. And if you look at this bobbin, that's a very good bobbin. It's filled evenly on both sides. Had the bobbin filled more on the inside edge than the outside edge, I would have gone up here and loosened these two screws and shifted their position in the slots that they're in just a little bit to move the tension device and outward. That way I would get the thread to not wind on the inside edge so much and wind more even. The opposite would be true. Had it wound too much on the outside edge, I'd loosen these two screws and move my tension device in the opposite direction until I could get these bobbins to wind evenly. But overall, in general, I usually find if I use the outermost screw position on this device here, center them in the slots, I usually get even bobbins on most of these. Like most things made by Innova, they're all manufactured to pretty exact specifications, and you don't need to do a lot of adjustment. So I hope this helps you to get enjoyable use of your L&M bobbin winder. One other little thing that it may not be apparent, but right in this part of the bobbin winder is a thread cutter. There's my bobbin.